So I feel like I have been out of Star Wars for a while now. And when I say out of Star Wars, just feeling a little out of touch with it. And that's fine because, as the Star Wars universe grows and over different generations of kids that come into it and different creators and stuff, it's bound to kind of change over time. And it may or may not hit you the same way that it hits somebody like myself who grew up on Star Wars, obviously back in the day, the 80s, Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, all of that good stuff. And the last, and maybe it is something to do with Disney, since they've kind of taken over. And it's not necessarily a criticism, it's just a different taste. And when I got onto YouTube this morning, and you know how your YouTube algorithm throws some videos at you, and I saw a video from Hello Greedo, if you guys know who he is, fantastic channel, has, I would say, somewhat similar views of Star Wars to myself. There's some things we kind of diverge on, but he was also talking about being a little out of Star Wars with the latest shows that have been out there, the Acolyte, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and what else? Mandalorian. I have not thoroughly enjoyed myself or really felt connected to the Star Wars universe since maybe that first season of Mandalorian, which I thought was really, really good. And since then, really, it's been the fan edits of some of the Disney shows that have come out to where I'm like, I kind of like the fan edits better than I do what Disney is putting out. There's one on Kenobi that's a fan edit that this guy basically shrunk it down to a movie instead of however many episodes there was that they showcased on Disney Plus. And I enjoyed the fan edit so much more, taking a lot of the extraneous stuff and a lot of the things I just don't particularly like with some of the characters and the storylines. The video that he was talking about, the Skeleton Crew, I thought it was a joke. I didn't even know the shows that are coming out for Star Wars. You know how at the Disney yearly meetings that they have, I kind of forget what the Star Wars things where they promote all of the upcoming projects for Star Wars. And I don't even remember them talking about the Skeleton Crew. And when I saw what Hello Greedo was talking about, I thought it was a joke. I thought it was one of his videos he does where he's kind of poking fun at Star Wars. And it turns out it's an actual trailer. And I gave it a few seconds. And when I saw it was about kids again, and that's one of the things that I kind of have an issue with Star Wars and Disney nowadays. It's so kid-centric. Baby Yoda. I did love seeing him and watching him that first season. And then I'm like, the following seasons of Mandalorian, and then everything else is, I'm just like, can we not get into more like adult themed stuff for Star Wars? But I don't complain too much, or at least not on social media, because I'm like, it's just not for me anymore. And that's fine. It's for a completely different generation, for younger kids, and that's fine with me. We hand the baton off to the next generation of Star Wars fans. But when I saw this, I was like, I wanted to turn it off because I was like, I'm done with watching kids in Star Wars. The last time that I actually really enjoyed kids in Star Wars was episode 3, when Anakin went through and killed all the young Jedi. I thought that was kind of, I thought it was a fun scene. I thought it was super dark. Episode 3, I love episode 3. And I thought it was, that's where I'm like, I don't mind the kids being on Star Wars. But when I saw this, I was like, yeah, and I was getting ready to turn it off. And then I slowly started to realize that this was kind of different. And I can't really place my finger on it. Hello Greedo mentioned something about it's similar to Stand By Me, I think, for him. That Stephen King movie back in the 80s, Will Wheaton, all of the I forget who the other kids are that were with him in the movie. Corey Feldman, and they go on a journey to find a dead body. You want to see a dead body? He kind of likened it to that. And I was like, okay, I kind of see that as I was watching it. But then another thing kind of popped in my head as I was watching. There's a little bit of a tie to Stranger Things. And I like most of the seasons of Stranger Things. The last one that came out, I'm kind of glad the series is coming to an end. I think this last one that's coming out is the final one because they kind of went a little too long on it. But I love Stranger Things. That's something to where when you write the right story for kids and adults, and you don't dumb things down, and you have good actors, and you have a good script, good dialogue. In Stranger Things, you have a good music background. That's where I don't mind watching. That's where I appreciate shows like that. But this one here with Skeleton Crew, the vibe of it for me is kind of like Stranger Things. And I was like, this is so different. The visuals, what they're kind of doing is so different. And there's little nods back to Star Wars with the look, some of the lighting's kind of the similar, some of the sound effects that they had on the trailer are very Star Wars. So you're still within the Star Wars universe, but they're telling something completely different, or they're packaging it up, it seems, in a different way that I think I'm going to actually kind of dig this. So this will be one of the first Star Wars products coming out by Disney and Favreau and Filoni. And I do like Filoni. I like Favreau. I think the problem that I have with a lot of the products coming out under their name, and you can throw in Kennedy in here also, I almost wonder if a lot of the things that I don't like about the Star Wars universe that they're creating is maybe pushed onto them because of Disney. And kind of it's one of those balancing acts that Favreau and Filoni have to kind of manage with Kennedy and Disney. I actually do like the Ahsoka series. That one also, there was a fan edit, and I forget the gentleman's name that was doing the fan edits of those. Ahsoka is one of my favorite characters within Star Wars, probably in at least my top 3 characters of all time, up there with Anakin, Ahsoka, and maybe Han Solo. Watching where she came from in the cartoon series to where she was so annoying that first season to being to the point to where she's now one of my top 3 Star Wars characters shows you some growth, shows you where writers can take certain characters. But I am intrigued enough to maybe tune into the Skeleton Crew live this December. I think it said December 3rd when it comes out. The Acolyte, the recent one that just came out, I think that's the first series to where nobody in our family talked about it. It wasn't an event. We didn't watch it, or at least that I know of. The wife and I didn't watch it. I don't think my 2 boys watched it. We just kind of lost the feeling for Star Wars. I think that's the first one to where we weren't excited about things really coming out. But I'm hoping Skeleton Crew comes out and proves us wrong, that maybe there are some Star Wars products coming soon that we can look forward to. So again, not a rant. I don't want to be fighting with Star Wars fans that love where everything's going with Star Wars. It's all different tastes. I totally respect that. I'm not complaining. It's just, and not for me, but Skeleton Crew, I think I'm going to tune in for it.